Welcome back to Orange Hat Reviews, everyone. Hope you're all having a wonderful day. This is also a big hint for smashing the like button. So, how's everybody doing? Hope you all had a wonderful Memorial Day weekend for anybody stateside. Just remember, it's not just for a extra day off from school for kids. It's so that you can honor the fallen who didn't make it back from any conflict or wartime. Our military deserve that honor. So, Memorial Day review, episode 97. This one is going to be discussed tomorrow on my friend Jade Shadow's channel, Mara's channel, as part of the ones and twos. It is, or the hints that were given were North Island, Folded Flag, Time to Let Go, Impossible Time, and SU-57. I also did visual hints on my Twitter, as I have been starting to do nowadays. Most of those hints that I read off were from GIFs that I did. And if you haven't guessed it by now, it is Top Gun Maverick. I also did a mystery review for Top Gun. Hello, Ma. Hello. And figured now that Top Gun Maverick is out and Memorial Day, I would do one here. So before I get on with the review, let me say hello to everybody in the chat. There's Davey and Donaldson, who guessed the Patriot, but nope, I already did that. Vanya, good to see you. And Neozoic, always a pleasure. And thank you so much, Davian. But yep, if you want to find the reviews, just look in or watch my mystery review playlist. I have all of my mystery reviews are on there. So Vanya, yep, indeed, Maverick, indeed. So let's get on with it. A movie that was in development hell due to the pandemic, but turned into one of the greatest sequels of all time. Directed by Joseph Kosinski, starring Tom Cruise, Val Kilmer, Jennifer Connelly, John Hamm, Miles Teller, Ed Harris, Glenn Powell, Monica Barbaro, Louis Pullman, Charles Parnell, Bashir Salahuddin, and many more. Fun note about this movie is thanks to John Kosinski. When John Kosinski went to talk with Tom Cruise, he got 30 minutes with Tom Cruise to make his pitch. And he told Tom Cruise the pitch for it, the story. And Tom Cruise picked up a phone to call Paramount and said, "We're doing Top Gun 2." And that was it. They then got on board with doing Top Gun 2. Folks, when I went to the theaters to see Top Gun 2 for an early viewing, I was on the edge of my seat the entire time. Where most people are lounging like this in their seats, I was like this, pitched forward, looking up at that screen, enjoying every second of the film. So, yeah. This film starts out in true honor to the original Top Gun film, where we get a corrected intro because they had a small spelling error, which me and Mara talked about in Top Gun discussion last week. But the updated and corrected intro was on March 3rd, 1969, the United States Navy established an elite school for the top 1% of its pilots. Its purpose was to teach the lost art of aerial combat to ensure that a handful of men and women, that's the updated part, and Ensure, which is ENSURE, women who graduated were the best fighter pilots in the world. They succeeded. Today, the Navy calls it Fighter Weapons School. The Flyers call it Top Gun. And then you see Maverick appear below it. And then we get the introduction with the USS Abraham Lincoln with the bobblehead, or the Lincoln bobblehead. showing off an F-18 taxiing and getting ready for takeoff, along with a couple of F-35s shown in or on the carrier as well. A callback to the first movie with or all the way down to Highway to the Danger Zone by Kenny Loggins. The music is still by Faltermeyer, and he brought in Hans Zimmer along with Lady Gaga. Now, a lot of people give Lady Gaga a lot of shit. Honestly, I like her music. I think that her music is pretty good, especially her music for this movie. When she wrote Hold My Hand, and it's a deeply personal music or song to her. However, that song is extremely replayable in my opinion, as well as the instrumental version to it, which I also have on my instrumental playlist on my channel. Feel free to check it out. So also, folks, if you could, make sure to smash the like button and share the stream out if you can on Twitter, Facebook, whatever social media you're on. It helps get more attention to the channel and it helps the channel grow. I'm still trying to get my watch time up. It's for some reason they're treating it like a cancer, or my watch time is cancerous and it keeps dropping in time. I did not know she was in Sin City 2. But yes, they get down to it, and then they have Maverick living in an old hangar with a P-50, which actually Tom Cruise owns that plane that he's working on. Pics of Goose and some other pics of his son now growing up. And we get the old jacket and the Kawasaki that he had in the first movie. Now, one of the things I love about this jacket is that in the trailers, they actually they took the Taiwanese flag off of the jacket in order to appease to the Chinese. And then when the movie came out, they put the freaking Taiwanese flag back on the jacket to maintain consistency with the first movie. And then the Chinese flipped out and didn't release Top Gun Maverick in China. They said, fuck you, you're not getting to release this movie in this or in our country, especially when you are giving support to the Taiwanese. And I gotta say, Top Gun Maverick didn't need a Chinese release to make $1 billion. Just saying. How would I compare Top Gun Maverick with not just the first Top Gun, but other Tom Cruise films such as Last Samurai, Edge of Tomorrow, Jack Reacher, War of the Worlds, Born on the 4th of July? I've seen a handful of Tom Cruise movies that I absolutely love, and a handful of movies of Tom Cruise that wasn't really much into. My top Tom Cruise movies: Legend, which I also did a mystery review for, Top Gun Maverick, Last Samurai, Edge of Tomorrow. Edge of Tomorrow is a 99% perfect movie in my opinion, so from a subjective opinion. If they would take out like a second and a half of Hillary Clinton being in the film, the movie would be an absolutely perfect movie, because then it doesn't date the movie. So yeah, I think that this movie is one of the best movies of this decade. In fact, I think it is the best movie of the decade. And my mom, funny enough, asked me last night, how many times are you going to watch Top Gun Maverick? And I tell her, as many times as it takes for me to get bored of watching this movie. I can watch this movie repeatedly. I can watch it on repeat and not get bored, because this movie is that rewatchable. I enjoy this movie to its fullest degree. And I think that this movie is a true way of respecting fans as well as respecting what came before. Let me see if I can fix that there. Now I don't have that weird effect on my hat or on my cap here, because it's blending too much with the background. Sorry about that. That can't be helped. But anyway, yes, Top Gun Maverick is definitely one of the top things. And so he races over to a top secret base where they're doing a Dark Star flight, which is supposed to go to Mach 9. And he is trying to, or He arrives, and they're getting shut down by the drone ranger, Rear Admiral Chester Kane, whose call sign is Hammer, which they don't really tell you that. However, the Dark Star is supposed to be a successor to the SR-71 Blackbird, which was made by Lockheed. And Lockheed did this one too, as well as a prototype for this movie. And hold on one second, folks. There we go. Sorry about that. There was a little bit of noise in the background that I couldn't help. But yeah. So Lockheed did the SR-71, and they also did this Dark Star flight, and the test flight is canceled because they want the funds for the unmanned program that Kane is doing. So, in true Maverick fashion, he's like, well, he's not here yet. They want Mach 10, which was the threshold for the entire program, which was a couple months away. He's like, well, let's give him Mach 10. Sorry, excuse me. Now, the Price is Right reviews. Good to see you. How you doing? And so then they show the setup, and they get the Dark Star out there, set up on the taxiway up to the runway. Ironic fact, when the Chinese government is upset about Top Gun Maverick, kept the Taiwan flag. Movies made their own Top Gun Maverick ripoff, but it failed big time. Isn't that something? I did not know that. I guess that's because it was a big time failure. So anyway, one of the coolest parts about the scene where Kane actually arrives just as they're taking off, he gets out and he stands up as the thing takes off over him. You see the shockwave just rip off the roof of the thing, or of the gate area, as well as Ed Harris, taking a step back from the inertia of the thing. Holy crap, folks, that was something to see, because Ed Harris was actually standing there. You know, that was so friggin' fun to see. And so we then see him doing his flight, and you get the nice little talk to me goose moment with the updated score from Faltermeyer and Gaga and Zimmer. I gotta say, when they do the score that's based off of Lady Gaga's music, that score is, I mean, I have that is my go-to when I need to like just calm down or decompress after a stressful time or a stressful day. I literally go onto YouTube, put my headphones in so I can't hear anything else, and I play that song or the Hold My Hand or instrumental. Happy late Memorial Day. Just watched The Patriot as my remembering of our people defying an imperialist king and won. I don't know how you feel about The Patriot. I did a mystery review on it. Yeah, did a mystery review on it, on the extended version of it. And you know about my mystery reviews, folks. Fun thing about my mystery reviews, with the exception of some of the ones in January, the movies that I do on my mystery reviews are movies that I enjoy watching and have seen and enjoyed and like. So yeah, that's how I do my mystery reviews. They got to be movies that I like. So we see how he's getting up to Mach 10, and he gets up to Mach 9, and he's the fastest man alive. And Salahuddin, who plays Hondo, Bashir Salahuddin, is one of the funniest guys ever. He's not a goose character. However, he is a close friend to Maverick, which is a great. It's not a replacement for Goose, but it's a really good person to play off of in this film. So yes, when Kane gets in there and he's ordering Maverick to land the craft, and he's like, Maverick's just doing fake problems with the communications. He's like, this is where we have problems with our communication, sir. It's the curvature of the Earth. It's called Earth bulge. And I'm thinking to myself, what the fuck? I'm like, yeah, that's a good bullshit. That's a good bullshit thing right there. And Cassie, fun fact, folks. Cult classic Cage actually starred in Top Gun Maverick. In many of the scenes, she's actually Phoenix. They said they casted Monica Barbaro, but they actually put in Cassie from Cult Classic Cage, which is pretty cool. I love busting her chops. She looks a lot like Phoenix in this movie, though. In all seriousness, yes, Monica Barbaro is in the film, but in all seriousness, Cult Classic Cage does kind of look like her. So yeah, especially when Phoenix's famous line in this movie, "So long as he doesn't call you a man," when she's ripping into a hangman. So according to some source, Chinese Top Gun's ripoff was so bad the ripoff was abandoned. Oh shit! I chose the name Phoenix because Jean Grey is my favorite X-Men character. Exactly. Holy shit! That is the fact that the Chinese were actually so stupid to try to do that, make a ripoff of Top Gun Maverick, is just absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, so he actually reaches Mach 10, but as Maverick is Maverick, he's like, just a little push. And Hondo knows he's about to do it. He's like, don't do it. Just a little push. He starts going. They then see 10.1, 10.2, 10.3. As soon as it gets to 10.3 or 10.4, you get master caution, everything. He's like, oh shit. And he had to shut everything down, but the Dark Star exploded. And everybody's like, Maverick, where Maverick? And then you see the spectacular freaking sonic boom explosion from the Dark Star blowing up. Mavericks then walk into a diner all disheveled, and everybody's looking at him like he just came from outer space or some shit, because he is kind of in a spacesuit. And I just love that moment. He's like, and they give him a bottle of water. He takes a sip of water. Thank you. Where am I? And this little kid who's eating syrup. Earth. It's just the fucking funniest thing, man. Everybody, of all the 8 people that were in the theaters when I was there, loved that moment. They got such a huge laugh out of it. Hey, Ruben Thomas, and hey, awesome Eagle Rider Rosetta. I love you, girl. How you doing? So we then see him getting choppered back to the base. And Kane, played brilliantly by Ed Harris. Ed Harris is a great actor, folks. From The Rock to National Treasure 2 to all the other movies that he's played in, Ed Harris has a great gravitas of his acting. Extremely overworked and sunburned. Oh, damn, girl. Aren't you supposed to be an albino? You're not supposed to sunburn. You'll turn the ash. Sorry. I love you. But he's like, Captain Pete Maverick Mitchell. And he goes over his record. Distinguished. Yet you born to fly. Jesus freaking Christ. Wow. Yeah, I figured you'd sunburn easier. I know. I'm joking. But he's like, yet you won't get a promotion. You can't get a promotion, or you won't retire, and despite your best efforts, you refuse to die. Why is that? It's one of life's great mysteries, sir. I ain't or this isn't a joke. I asked you a question. I'm where I belong, sir. And that is just how he puts it. They won't, or he won't go anywhere besides, and he is the most decorated captain in the Navy, essentially, in this film. And I absolutely love it because he's still a smartass. One of life's great mysteries, sir. Except that this dude's name is, his call sign is Hammer. Posted a pic last night of a bison headbutting a tourist car. Oh, I love that. I'm going to have to definitely check that out, Rosetta. I will check that out. So, he can't get a promotion. So, we then see him, he's like trying to tell him that the future is unmanned and also you're not in it. And he tells him the future is inevitable, Maverick. Sooner or later, you're going to be, or you and your kind are going to be left behind. And you get the famous line, maybe so, sir, but not today. And that is one of the best lines ever in a film, folks. Because he literally just took an admiral's words and politely shoved them back into dude's face. Because he was about to be grounded, but due to his guardian angel and the Almighty, he'd been called back to Top Gun, to North Island, is where they call it. I took it yesterday with a meetup with Dad, Man, and his wife. Nice. So we then see him returning, and you see the picture of him and Iceman from the ending of the first movie, where they are celebrating together. Then you also see Admiral Tom Kazansky, commander of the Pacific Fleet. So Iceman he accepted all of his promotions and whatnot. And Maverick should have been at least a 2-star admiral or a senator, but he can't get a promotion. Question: who was Maverick's better love interest? Kelly McGillis's Charlie or Jennifer Connelly's Penny? I would say Penny Benjamin. I agree with Mara from our ones and twos on Wednesdays tomorrow night, 8 p.m. folks, for Top Gun Mavericks 1 and 2 episode. So I do believe that Penny Benjamin is the better one. Kelly McGillis, there really wasn't much real need for a love interest like that. Kelly McGillis didn't really come off as a good love interest, But they did it. It was the 80s. They also did excessive love or excessive sex scenes in the 80s. So even that one was gratuitous in Top Gun. But anyway, he gets to North Island. We see Warlock and Cyclone, or Admiral Bo Simpson, and Warlock, who is played by Charles Parnell, great actor. Maverick's orders are to teach a mission of wiping out a uranium enrichment plant before it becomes operational. And there's a threat of 5th gen Su-57 fighters, which was one of the hints, plus F-14s and Kasaka Hindees, which also featured in one of my favorite video games of all time, which is Metal Gear Solid. Maverick only lasted 2 months as an instructor, we learn. Plus, there's SAM sites, which are surface-to-air missile sites. And this is Maverick's last post. And we get the 12 Top Gun graduates. We get Phoenix, Bob, Hangman, Coyote, Fanboy, Omaha, Yale, Harvard, Payback, Halo, Fritz, and Rooster. And he sees Rooster's photo up there and is like, "Is there a problem, Captain?" "You know there is, sir." And he's like, "Yeah, Bradley Bradshaw. Call sign Rooster. I heard you flew with his old man. What was his name?" "Goose, sir. Tragic what happened. And Warlock actually, how you doing, Copa? Good to see you. And his, Warlock comes to Maverick's defense there. He's like, Maverick was cleared of all wrongdoing. Goose's death was an accident. And John Hamm, who plays Cyclone, who plays the Admiral Simpson, tells him, he's like, is that how you see it, Captain? Is that how Goose's son sees it? And so he's then at the hard deck, and we see that he's texting with Iceman. Now, one of the things that they did in this that they could have actually done a little bit better was the texting, when he's texting between Iceman. As soon as he gets done texting, immediately Iceman is texting back, almost as if Iceman knows him so well he knows exactly what he's going to say. If they would have taken at least one more beat before Iceman starts typing, it would have been a little bit objectively better, because it then shows that Iceman is taking the time to read what he is saying or seeing, you know? It just came across as a little too quick in response. That is one of the objective slight flaws. I'm not going to call it a full flaw. I'm going to call it a slight flaw. And yes, thank you, Copa. Make sure you all smash that like button and share out the stream if you can. It helps get my channel noticed. The more people who notice it, the better I can improve my quality and whatnot. So, yep. And so then Penny is the bartender. Now, folks, taking a character who was merely mentioned in the first film, an admiral's daughter, Penny Benjamin, who Maverick knew, and major flaws aside, becomes a main character in this film. Now, I'm not saying that Jennifer Connelly is a flaw or her acting was flawed. The year 1986, she was like 15 or 16 years old. Yeah, Jennifer Connelly was young when she did the movie Labyrinth with David Bowie. So, yeah. He would have been taking a minor up into an F-14 and pissing off an admiral if they went with how old she was in the film. Obviously, I'm guessing they made her a little older because he took a joyride in she says an F-18, so I'm thinking to myself, did he steal another plane and ended up doing a freaking joyride with her? Because if you pay attention to the dialogue, she says an F-18. Look up the year that F-18s went into production. Top Gun is from 1986, by the way. F-18s were not around in 1986. Excuse me. How would I compare Val Kilmer with roles in Top Gun Maverick and other roles such as Batman Forever, Tombstone, The Prince of Egypt, he voiced Moses, Alexander, and The Ghost in Darkness. Ghost in the Darkness, Top Gun Maverick, Batman Forever, Tombstone, and one that you didn't mention, The Saint. The Saint is my favorite Val Kilmer film. It is absolutely a masterpiece. It is an adaptation of a show from, I believe, the 80s, or possibly earlier than that, which I absolutely loved how he played the same character, but being several different characters, you know? As love interest was a smart choice for fans. In this case, this is the kind of, or it is something that pays off. Yes. I think that this was a good choice. Kelly McGillis's wasn't a good choice. For Top Gun, they really didn't need a love interest. But in this case, it was because they're older and he's now kind of thinking more realistically. The Saint was badass. Indeed, it was, Rosetta. Val Kilmer did a great job in that film. And yes, you are absolutely right, Copa Catania. I cannot credit Val Kilmer enough without crediting him as Mad Mardigan and Willow. I can't believe actually skipped over that because Willow is also one of my favorite movies. That's from childhood. So, yes. I have not seen At First Sight or Thunderstart. So, or Thunderheart. So I cannot make a judgment on those. So she starts talking to him and giving him a hard time as he also sees that more Top Gun graduates are coming in. He sees Rooster or Hangman and Coyote. Hangman is doing bullseyes at the dartboard. And she ends up ringing a bell because he put his cell phone on her bar. Now, I actually noticed that a lot of people who have reviewed this movie, I'm not going to call out names of different channels, but these are bigger channels, folks. These are way bigger channels, like hundreds of thousands to millions of subscribers that are saying he disrespected her or he gets the bell rung because he disrespected her. He put his cell phone on her bar. He didn't disrespect her in any shape, way, or form. So, yeah, when he says that, or when those bigger channels and shit say that, they honestly tell me that they didn't really pay attention to the movie a lot. And Netcat Media, good to see you. How you doing? Glenn Powell was great. From Vanya. From Everybody Wants Some. Seen it? No, I have not. Although I did see him in the latest movie that he was in with Jonathan Majors about World War I. I can't remember what it was called, though. But Glenn Powell was great in that film. I've only seen Glenn Powell in, I believe, that film and this film. So, yeah. Already switching to lurk mode. Have a great stream and chat, y'all. Thank you so much, Kalpa Catania, for swinging by. And that was just one of the bar's rules. Yes, if you disrespect a woman, the Navy, or put your cell phone on the bar, you buy a round. And he has to buy everybody around. So then we get introduced to Phoenix, Bob, Fanboy, Payback, and Coyote. And then we get the introduction to Rooster. And you learn very quickly that Rooster has history with Phoenix. And I'm thinking to myself, are they going to put another gratuitous kind of love scene thingy in here? Or is they going to have them maintain professionalism? So glad they maintain professionalism in this, folks, because you know that they have history together. I don't know if it's romantic history, but it's definitely it's definitely something that you know that they have been around, you know? Also, isn't Val Kilmer a difficult person to work with? Because reminder of the 1996 film, The Island of Dr. Moromis. I don't know about that, Neozoic, so I couldn't tell you. I could not tell you. And yes, you did remember correctly. Netcat. So you then notice that there's definitely a history between Hangman and Rooster, because Hangman is such a freaking egomaniac. This film puts this dude in such egomania that, let me tell you, I am so glad how they wrote it, because I've seen videos where Top Guns, actual real life Top Guns, critique him, and they say there are pilots out there with egos that far exceed their skill. But it is good to have a healthy amount of ego. The way that they did Hangman is kind of a perfect mirror to what Maverick was in the first Top Gun film. Believe it or not, Hangman is kind of like Maverick from the first film. He is completely egotistical. He doesn't break rules, but he is just full of ego, and he needs the reality check. And he gets that reality check in this film at the end when he is not chosen for the mission. Val Kilmer has OCD and personality behaviors that make him obsessive when working on set. People call him an ass. Personally, they call him, or Rosetta calls him a sweetheart. I can understand personality behaviors and OCD. I kind of have them myself. So, yeah. So then we get Rooster going on the piano as Maverick gets wrung out because he couldn't pay the bill. And then he gets thrown out by the Navy boys. And they don't know who he is yet, which is funny. But then when Rooster starts playing Great Balls of Fire, you see Monica Barbaro smile and call out the others, and she swings by. The way that she swings by Rooster, that also is a good tell that she kind of likes Rooster a little bit. I'm going to fully admit that, folks. I think that Phoenix likes Rooster to a degree. Not just friendly, but a little more possibly, you know? Oh, no, people who worked with him said he is a sweetheart. Oh, all right, sorry. Don't make this about me. Yeah, well, sorry. I misread. My mistake. So, however, singing Great Balls of Fire like they did in the first movie, you see that this is not a good memory for Maverick because there's animosity between Rooster and Maverick that hasn't been talked about yet. However, right now you think it's just that he blames Maverick for his father's death. However, you learn later that Maverick pulled his papers from the Naval Academy for good reason. He made a promise to Meg Ryan's character, who died off screen between the movies, that she made him promise that he would never allow Rooster to fly. Not after what happened to Goose. However, he tried to keep that promise. He pulled his papers from the academy and set him back 4 years. So that is why that is the main animosity between the two. But him being reminded, and I love how they show the reminiscent scenes from the first film showing the death of Goose. And you notice that Penny is looking out and seeing Maverick. And then you see how she looks over at Goose, or Rooster rather, and she's realizing, oh my God, there's something here that I'm not understanding. And Maverick is hurting right now. But you don't she'll learn later on what it is. When he did Thunderheart, he spent months on the res studying the culture. That is what everyone that I know who worked with him said. While filming and studying, he was hardcore as soon as done. Acted like a best friend, kitten. Nice. Or as soon as done, acted like a best friend and kitten. Nice. Love Val Kilmer's Elvis cameo in True Romance. Nice. So we then get to the next day where the pilots meet Maverick, where Admiral Warlock is basically giving them the mission parameters and how their instructor is a Top Gun graduate with experience in every training aspect that they will need to master, and his exploits are legendary. And then you see the guys who threw him out, Payback and Hangman, and I believe Coyote, who also carried him out, are all looking like, oh shit, because you see Hangman look back and he's like, oh shit. He puts his hand up. He's like, oh my God. And so when Maverick goes up and he's like, good morning. Yeah, you see those two just really just quietly nod to him. And so you then see him hold up the book, the F-18 NATOPS. I'm sure you know, or everything you need to know about the F-18, your aircraft. And I'm guessing you all know this movie or this book back to front. And they're all like, that's right, yeah. He throws it in garbage. Jesse Milestone is a huge fan of Val Kilmer. That's cool. I try to catch Jesse's stuff every now and then. I think she still does YouTube. She's a good people. I don't, but yeah. Val Kilmer and Tom Cruise. Well, nice. Probably try doing a guest choice review with her sometime, maybe. If I can get her to come on. That'd be cool. So, he tells him, so is your enemy, but what your enemy doesn't know is you, your limits. I plan to test them, or push past them. And today we're going to start with what you think you know. Show me what you're made of. And we get the greatest dogfight scenes, man. Jessie does. She's having a rough year. I'm sorry to hear that she's having a rough year, Rosetta. Last stream, she talked about her and... Oh, shit. I'm sorry for bringing that up. Shouldn't have highlighted that. I'm sorry, folks. But yeah, I didn't hear about that. I'm sorry to hear about that. But so we now get to the dogfighting, back on course, sorry. And let me see if I can straighten out my camera. It looks like it's kind of lopsided. There you go. That's a little bit better. So then we get the dogfighting. And Maverick smokes all of them, including Rooster. And you see that there's animosity with Rooster. And those who get shot down has to do 200 push-ups. I don't know if anybody in real life can actually do 200 push-ups. Unless you are as fit as a freaking Olympian of the Greek age. It's okay, she talked about it publicly. Well, I still don't want to bring up that kind of drama, Rosetta. That's not something I appreciate because honestly, a YouTuber that I no longer associate with pulled that shit and highlighted a comment that labeled me in a very disgusting light. And she has yet to edit that shit out. But that's all I'll say on that. True Eagle, I hope she's doing... Yeah, I do hope she's doing okay. But anyway, we get to the nice little scene with Hangman takes Bob and Phoenix up as partners, and he's laying it thick on Bob. He's like, why don't we tell him the Bob stands for, I got it, or baby on board. And Maverick just flies right in between them, and you see that freaking Hangman's like, shit! But you also want to know why they call him Hangman. For what I remember from listening to people in the Navy and stuff, folks, your call sign is not something you pick. It is picked for you. So you want to know why people call him Hangman? He'll always hang you out to dry. He leaves Phoenix and Bob to get beaten or to get taken out, and then he tries going after Maverick, which it doesn't work. Maverick, he's like, yeah, you're good. I'll give you that. Let's see if you can get better. He starts flying straight up at the sun, drops out while Hangman is out there, and ends up behind Hangman shooting him down. So it's like, that is so great. And then you see another one where it's Hangman and Rooster. And we get a famous inverted flight, which was known as a Cobra maneuver, where they were flying down. Folks, that was a digital shot. And the fact that Top Gun Maverick didn't win Best Digital Effects at the awards or at the Academy Awards tells you that the awards are pure shit. I mean, it's common sense that they are nowadays, but the fact that Top Gun Maverick got nominated but didn't win is absolute fucking trash. So yes, if you want to watch when the Academy Awards are going on, there's a different award ceremony that me and many others watch in its place. They're called the Raven Awards with OMB Reviews. Check out his channel. OMB Reviews is the name of the channel. He goes live tonight, I believe, where he does every Tuesday nights at 7 and Saturday nights at 7, so that he can, or just to do nice streams with people. He talks with everybody in his chat as much as he can. He's one of the humble. He's the guy that got me in on YouTube. He's the one that got me started on YouTube, essentially. It inspired me to do it. So to be fair, 1996 style Dr. Moreau is a whole mess. Both the movie and behind the scenes, so much so that there was a documentary about the behind the scenes and aftermath of it. Wow, holy crap. Did Top Gun Maverick win Oscars? No, Top Gun Maverick didn't win any Oscars. They didn't win any Oscars. They were nominated, but I don't think they won any Oscars. They should have won the special effects. I'm sorry, I blanked out on that. They should have won special effects because their digital effects looked absolutely fucking real. Their digital effects looked real. I'm telling you, folks, when you're looking at the F-18s in the sky that are digital ones, they look real. I haven't seen digital effects that good since Shin Godzilla. And when I say Shin Godzilla digital effects, I mean shots of like Godzilla's tail swinging over a bit of Tokyo. That was a digital tail. And him walking where the car was filming upward, that was a digital Godzilla. That wasn't a guy in a suit. So yeah, I have seen 2 movies with damn near perfect digital effects, yet they don't get enough. They don't get enough reward for it. They don't get enough acknowledgement for it. And that's the true tragedy. Top Gun Maverick should have won Best Digital Effects. And yes, Odin is good, folks. The documentary was called Lost Soul. All right. That's disgraceful, Lawrence. That Top Gun didn't win anything. Damn straight it didn't, because it was the best movie of 2022. And it should have had a clean sweep. It got Best Sound. Okay, it got Best Sound. Good sound. Yeah, it does have good sound. But still, it should have gotten a lot more than that, NetCat. The only reason, let's just fucking tell it like it is, folks. The only reason that Top Gun Maverick didn't get any awards except for Best Sound was because the main lead was white and it wasn't diverse enough. Even though Phoenix was a Latina, you also had Fanboy, who was Latino. You had Top Guns who were black, and all sorts of great characters who were very diverse in ethnicity. So, it wasn't diverse enough. Fuck you to the Academy. I'm sorry, folks, I need to say that. But now getting back on track, thank you for keeping me accurate, man. Thank you for keeping me accurate. So apparently it won Best Sound. But yeah. So the next day, we then get the Cobra maneuver, and Maverick gets a rip at that, and then he goes to the bar, the hard deck, which is the name of the bar, which is also a naval term, which is which is simulated ground level. Hey, Jeff B, good to see you. They're saving the CGI Oscar for the Little Mermaid remake. Yeah, that's bullshit. I'm not even going to talk about that racist crap, dude. Not even going to go there. I mean, thank you for the comment, and yes, I agree with you. They probably are, but I ain't going to talk about that racist remake. I think it should have swept the awards. It should have. It's not part of the political agenda. Yeah, that's also the truth of it. They felt it was a right-wing movie when it had no political agenda. Tom Cruise just wanted to entertain people. And yet they're saying it's a right-wing extremist movie. Why? Because people enjoyed it? Get the fuck out of here. Sorry with the language, but yeah, I'm passionate about this movie, folks. So, after Maverick gets a rip, you see that Coyote and Hangman learn of Goose and Maverick and learn that Goose was Bradley Bradshaw's daddy. Maverick and Penny then have a boat ride, which there was a nice little screw up where Tom Cruise falls forward and she says, "Crank it, you okay?" That actually wasn't written into it, but they kept it because it added a sense of realism to the scene. Maverick, not Markets. I don't know why the word was switched. I don't know. Yeah. But I also read it as Maverick, so there you go. And this scene is real nice between Penny and Maverick, where she's helping or she's teaching him a little bit. And that's the wonderful thing about couples, folks. Couples, one should not be overbearing over the other. Couples are a partnership. And when she's helping him learn how to tighten the jib and sail and whatnot, that's a nice little tease there that this is going somewhere. So when she gets off his bike and says, "Don't give me that look," and he's like, "What look?" "That one." And she closes the door and looks up, she's realizing she's catching feelings for him again. She doesn't want to, but she's catching them. And he's catching feelings for her again. So it's like, well, crap, they already agreed not to, but they can't help it. Which is really cool and really nice and organically done. Jennifer Connelly as Penny Benjamin in this film, freaking phenomenally. How did she not win Best Actress? Best Supporting Actress. I mean, honestly, it was perfect, or it was either her or Monica Barbaro that should have won Best Supporting Actress. This movie should have had a clean sweep at the Oscars, I'm telling you. It should have, but they wouldn't have done it because, the Oscars too white. Tom Cruise should have won Best Actor. Damn straight he should have. Oh, excuse me. Still have a little bit of scratchy throat, folks. Sorry about that. Been bringing up mucus for the last few days. So then they do the trench run practice. And Maverick in this scene, when he has them doing the trench, tells him, "Why are you dead?" And they give the reasons. He's like, "All right." And then he interrupts Payback, and he's like, one that their family will accept at the funeral. And then he goes to Phoenix, "Why are you dead?" And she's like, "Don't tell me. Tell it to his family." He's trying to impart on them that he wants them to come home from this, which is he challenged Admiral Cyclone at the time, or Simpson. He challenged her or him when he's like, your mission is to teach them to strike the target, or to make the run and strike the target, and then to come home. And to come home, sir. Every mission has its risk. These pilots accept that. I don't, sir. And he's trying to teach them how to serve, not just to do the mission, but how to survive if it comes down to a dogfight. And he tells them, if you get into an engagement with these 5th generation fighters, you're dead. Well, Rooster doesn't believe that. Rooster actually managed to go through the course, make it through, but he was slow on that perch, which Hangman gave him a rip for earlier in the film. And then Hangman tells him again, you're not flying fast enough. You're always playing it safe. We're going into combat. It's not going to be safe and whatnot. However, in this case, when he also tells him that he's like, I can't be the only one who knows that Maverick flew with Rooster's old man, and that Maverick was there when Rooster's old man, and that's when Rooster went after Hangman, and it's like, okay, one, that's out of line. Stopping the fight is one thing, but as soon as Hangman kept pushing, he's not ready for this, or he's not ready to lead this mission. You know it. And you know I'm right. I'm sorry. At that point, I would have said, Lieutenant, you're out of order. Get the hell out. You have no right to challenge a superior officer and disregard their orders, which when he says that's enough, you shut your fucking mouth. I know military decorum, even though I've never been in the military. I know it well enough from friends who have. Even simple terms like, that's enough, you back off. Hangman didn't in that scene. He should have got a rip for it. But at that point, Maverick was destabilized because Rooster was telling him, it's not the plane, sir, it's the pilot. And when Maverick shoots back at him exactly, it's like there's more than one way to fly this mission. Rooster doesn't want to accept that Maverick is right in the situation because that would mean giving Maverick satisfaction. How would you compare Jennifer Connelly's role in Maverick with her other roles, such as Labyrinth, the one with the late David Bowie, I am well aware, Rocketeer, Career Opportunities, Dark City Phenomena? She's a great actress. She's also one that actually went into the whole nude gang or into the nude business. But honestly, I've not seen a movie where she has been nude in, so I wouldn't really have any say in it. I thought she did good as her character in Alita Battle Angel, where she was so narcissistic and so morally high ground that later on she decides she doesn't want that life anymore. Jennifer Connelly is an actress that is really well trained as an actress. And I cannot say it enough. I think she is she does a great job in this film. But yes, moving on, we then see that Iceman, or Rooster, is by the book like Iceman, but is held back by his chip on his shoulder because of him being Goose's son. And then we get the Iceman scene with Maverick. Folks, this scene is beyond powerful and emotional because Val Kilmer, he can't talk anymore. He does rely on a computer to talk for him. In real life, he had medical problems with his throat. And I think that, or from what I hear, they had Val Kilmer's son help provide his voice and a record or computer enhancement for the voice as well to help Val Kilmer speak when he speaks in this scene, because apparently he has a cancer that has come back and it's painful to even talk, according to Iceman's wife. So this scene where he tells him, I want to talk about work, and he's like, well, Rooster still ticked off at me that I pulled, or about what happened. And you haven't learned what happens yet. It's only revealed to Penny what happens about him pulling his papers. Except that Rooster also told Phoenix that he pulled his papers. So he tells him that it's time to let go. And he's like, I don't know how. I'm a fighter pilot, Ice. I'm not a teacher. I'm a naval aviator. How do I teach that? And even if I can, it's not what Rooster wants. It's not what the Navy wants. That's why they canned me the last time. And it's only because of you that I'm still here. Literally, Iceman being alive is Maverick's last remaining threat to the Navy. And he finally gets up and stands up and tells him, the Navy needs Maverick. The kid or the kid needs Maverick. The Navy needs Maverick. That's why I fought for you. That's why you're still here. And in that moment, it is so powerful that Val Kilmer agreed, knowing that this would hurt like hell to do those scenes. Now, yes, maybe he only mouthed them or spoke or did the words without the dialogue, but still that it does not cheapen that moment at all. And then he tells him, he's like, one last thing. Who's the better pilot, you or me? This is a great moment. Let's not ruin it, you know? And that is a great moment, you know? Because it's, yes, Iceman was top grad at Top Gun that year. Maverick was second place. Maverick, however, is the better pilot. But they're never going to say that to each other, you know? Top Gun or Iceman is the best. Because they don't want to confuse people with the other movie that has Labyrinth in the title, Guillermo del Toro's 2006 Pan's Labyrinth. Well, yeah, there's Labyrinth and then there's Pan's Labyrinth. I don't think anybody's going to confuse that, Neozoic. Interesting, my TTS app was actually originally designed to mimic a person's voice to help them talk, however, losing their voice for whatever reason. Isn't that interesting? So, yeah, Val Kilmer's son actually provided the voice for his father, which is very cool. Because apparently he sounds very much like him. And we then get the beach scene. Or before we get to the beach scene, there was another line in there that Maverick said that I put in the talking points. It's not what I am, it's who I am. Which is true. That's why Maverick has never left. And why he never took a promotion. It's okay, Neozoic. Davian, have a good day. Thank you for stopping in. Catch the rest when you can. And yes, it's been great listening to your live stream review for Top Gun Maverick. Take care. Have a good night. Yep. Enjoy the rest of it, bub. When you're able. So we then get to the beach scene, which is reminiscent to the volleyball scene. Shirts off, except for the ladies, obviously. Damn. Joking. Or am I? But anyway, it's flag football, or it's a dogfight football, offense and defense at the same time. And I like how before they started the scene, you show Cyclone looking for all the Top Guns, and he arrives at the beach. He's like, "What is this?" Or, "This detachment has some training to do, Captain. Every second counts." "Yes, sir." "So why are we here playing games? You said you needed them to become a team." "Well, there's your team." Because if you think about it, Maverick, or all of them, were at each other's throats and basically really hating Rooster or Hangman at the time. So now that they had them do their moment of camaraderie, and then you show that they can actually work together. So yeah, remember that. So then the next scene is the scene between, or the nice little tender, it's not a sex scene, but it is there is no way around it. They had it, they did it, but they didn't show it, that kind of thing. So she then has Pete explain what his deal is with Rooster. And that when Rooster's mom, before she died, she made Maverick promise not to allow him to fly in the Navy. Well, he pulled his papers, and Rooster will always resent him. She asks him, does Rooster know that about his mom? I didn't want him to resent her or to have any reason to resent her. So no, I never told him. Now, if there is a Top Gun 3, and if there is any animosity, which I don't think there is, I mean, this movie pretty much gives a good conclusion with Rooster and Maverick, that they're on good terms. But if there is a Top Gun 3 and they do have a scene where that comes out, I I think it would be a bad thing to do because it's an unnecessary thing. Why destroy somebody's reason, or why destroy somebody's memory of somebody, you know? So yeah, it was good on Maverick that he didn't tell her that, or that he didn't tell Rooster that his mom made him promise. So then we get the nice little scene where the daughter comes back and she's like, I thought you were staying at Karen. She's sick. Don't worry, I'll be done. So Maverick has to climb out the window, but he professes his love to Penny. And Penny's taken, and she's like, oh, shut up, and then kisses him, and he kind of climbs out the window. You think he's made it. You think he got away with it. Huh! Oh, shit, there she is. And she's just staring daggers at him. She's like, and then cut back to Maverick, like, and then cut back to him, just don't break her heart again. Because she knows, she's not stupid, kids. She's not stupid at all. Just don't break her heart again, you know? I mean, she basically gave him full blessing, just don't break her heart. I heard rumors that Miles Teller is open to a Top Gun sequel that involves with his character Rooster. Honestly, I would love to see it too. I would love to see it too. There's a short somewhere on YouTube, folks, where Miles Teller was talking about Maverick and about the production of Top Gun. I can't remember the full context of it, but it was extremely hilarious. I thought it was funny. So, so then we get to the next scene, which is them learning to do the bomb run, the second phase of the bomb run, where they have to go up over a mountain, dip into the mountain to strike the target, and then pull back out of the mountain at a steeper climb. And they're pulling at least 9 Gs, which will feel like an elephant sitting on your freaking chest, folks. And they even show the blackout effect. And so you know that it's going to happen. You're going to see somebody have that problem. Because the wonderful thing about storytelling is you set something up and then you show it at least somewhere, you know? And when you have Coyote pulling with Rooster and Bob, he's pulling, and he ends up in G-lock, which is gravity-induced loss of consciousness. And so Maverick has to put him in missile lock in order to try to wake him out of it. He comes out of it at the very last second, allowing him to live, and pulls out. Yet Phoenix and Bob pull up next to Maverick. That was too close. And then there's a bird strike, which at the beginning of the scene, you see a bunch of birds taken to the air, so you know that there's going to be something there. And so there's a bird strike that hits Maverick's canopy and then strikes the engine to Phoenix's craft. So she pulls up in a panic and does everything by the book. However, her right engine starts catching fire before she ignites and ends up throwing her F-18 into a spin that she can't recover from, or into a roll that is unrecoverable. So they have them punch out, and the ship or the plane crashes. So Phoenix and Bob are in observation overnight, and you see Rooster is concerned. He's staying there, and he goes after Maverick. He's like, or because Maverick gives him the same speech that Tom Skerritt's Viper did in Top Gun 1 after Goose got killed. Or, I've never lost a wingman. Give it time, you will, or eventually you will. And he's like, easy for you to say. No family, nobody to love, or nobody to mourn you when you burn in. And he tries. Maverick's just at this point, he's sick of it, and he's like, just go get some rest. And so Rooster finally asked him, why did you pull my papers at the academy? Why did you stand in my way? And he tells him, you weren't ready. Ready for what? Ready to fly like you? No. Ready to throw away the book, don't think, just do. You think up there, you're dead. Believe me. Which is a callback to the line, or which is a callback to a line from the first one, where when his flying was being critiqued, he's like, you think up there for even a second, you're dead. Fun question. Avatar, The Way of the Water versus Top Gun Maverick in terms of which is the better film, better sequel to their respective films. Top Gun Maverick. As much as I think Avatar, Way of the Water is pretty decent, Top Gun Maverick is a better sequel and a better film. So, the mission has been moved up a week, by the way, from the last scene, so that they had to finish the bomb, or they couldn't continue the first level of the course. So, after Rooster gives it back to Maverick, he's like, my father believed in you, I won't make that mistake. Warlock shows up, and you understand that something bad has happened. Well, it turns out Iceman passed away. And you see the funeral, and you see that Maverick takes his wings and pounds them onto the casket for Iceman. I honestly thought that was a brilliant touch. It's something that I've never seen before. I recently watched the movie American Sniper, which I did a review on yesterday. Feel free to look that up. Where members of their teams will take their pins and pound them into a fallen comrade's casket. That is something that they actually do, apparently. I think it's something that is conditionally to the Navy. I don't know if other branches do that. However, with Iceman gone, that was the last tether to Maverick. He's now grounded. And Cyclone told him, we know you never wanted this assignment, so you're grounded, Captain. That'll be all. Get out. And so Penny talks to him, and he's like, I'm out. There's nothing else I can do. They don't want me anymore. And she tells him, if you're up there and you lose a wingman, do you just quit? You would never give up. These students need you. They need to know that this thing can be done. And so we get the practice run where he steals an F-18. And folks, one of the things you will not notice unless you are eagle-eyed or unless it's pointed out to you is that every scene where you see them in a cockpit, they are in a double F-18, which is a two-person F-18, which they are in the back seat. And when they are flying, or if you see that scenes where, like Phoenix and Bob, where you see them both in the craft, it's clever cutting to make them look like they're flying. They're actually not flying. However, they all did take training courses for this film to where they could fly an F-18. However, that is a very expensive piece of equipment that they are not going to fly without professional help. So yeah, Tom Cruise actually asked, can I land an F-18 I always wanted to land an F-18 onto the aircraft carrier. And the Navy, in one unified voice, is like, absolutely not. Tom Cruise is star-powered, yes, but he doesn't get his way all the time. He could, but he's qualified, possibly, but they would not allow him to do it. So, him doing the course and finishing it within a 16th of a second left is pretty good, because he sets the time to 2:15, and they're like, 2:15, that's impossible. And you also see Phoenix, and she's like, nice. And you also see the worried look on Hangman. He's like, oh my God, is he going to do it? And then he's like, damn. So now Cyclone is in a very uncomfortable position. You've shown that this mission can be flown, and possibly the only way it can be survived. However, you did it by stealing a multi-million-dollar aircraft and flying it in such a manner that it may never be airworthy again. So what do? Iceman is no longer here to protect you. I have everything I need to have you court-martialed and dishonorably discharged. So what do? Risk the lives of my pilots, or risk my career by appointing you team captain. And he's about to say something, but Warlock tells him, he's like, I think the Admiral is asking a rhetorical question. Because he's like, sir, or I'm guessing he would have said, sir, that's not necessary. But I do like the scene that happens after this, because now that Penny and Maverick are an item, they're a couple now. He goes up into his full dress down, his white Navy uniform. She sees him, and she has that glowing look on her face at the bar after she just rang the bell on somebody for putting their phone down. But he goes up and tells her, I've been made, or you don't hear what he's telling her, but you know what he's telling her. I'm flying the mission. I am now their team commander. And the look on her face says it all. So they have that moment outside that is beautiful without dialogue, where she hugs him and they're just watching the waves. They're having that last moment together in case something goes wrong, because it is expected that something will go wrong. And then you see them on the aircraft carrier. I made 2 gifs out of this scene where he says, talk to me, Goose, and then Warlock's behind him. You're where you belong. I made that into a gift. And then when it cuts back to him, make us proud. I turned that into a gift, or a gif. And I'm going to use those around tomorrow night, where when Mara gets ready to go live, when she posts on Twitter. So, yep. We then get on the aircraft carrier, and he picks his teams, the Foxtrot teams, which are Payback and Fanboy, and Rooster and Bob. So you got your full diversity quota there, man. You got your woman on the main team. You got your man on the main team. You got a Hispanic and a POC. For the woke reasons. No, not for woke reasons. They didn't make anything about race in this film, which is awesome, which is why I love it so much. It's not woke. But you'd think that would actually make the diversity quota. However, it didn't. And then you see the look on Hangman's face, how he's just fully expecting to be called on to be the wingman for this mission. Who's your wingman? Rooster. And then you see just how fucking busted up Hangman is. He can't believe he wasn't called for the mission. You see it all over his face. He doesn't make a huge fuss about it. However, you see on his face during the next few minutes that he is absolutely fucking pissed. He's heartbroken that he's not going on this mission, because when they're down in the mission report room, he turns his face away a little bit and he's fighting back tears. He thought he was the egomaniac, was going to be able to go on this mission. No, he's put on spare. Or he's ready, or basically he is the spare in case they're needed. Wouldn't it be funny if they made Top Gun Transformers crossover, because Maverick screenwriter Aaron Kruger wrote 3 of the 5 Bay films? No. No. I mean, unless Maverick's going to take down Starscream. But no, I don't think that would be good at all. But so we then see that in order to do a small little acceptance that he's not going on a mission, he does go to Rooster and tells him, give him hell. And so the mission is started. they launched the Tomahawks to destroy the runway so no fighters can take off. And they're expectant that no other ships or planes are in the air. So they go on the trench run. Rooster's holding back. He's still not ready. So he does the "talk to me, Dad." And then you hear Maverick. He's like, "Come on, kid. Don't think. Just do." And then Rooster goes full throttle. And it's like, "Whoa, Rooster, not that fast, man." And so we get the re-engagement, which is a callback to when Maverick pulled out in the last scene, where he was pulling out or disengaging from the battle and leaving ice all alone. So we get a successful bomb run. However, when they fly up into the SAMs, that's when shit starts going sideways. They're in a panic. They're trying to get back below radar, but they also have to dodge the SAMs in order to do it. And so Maverick ends up saving Rooster, but gets hit by a SAM. So you think that that Maverick is now dead. And they're all panicking. However, Cyclone, who's admiral of the operation, who is the air boss, he's like, get him back to the plane because there were bandits in the air. Bandits being 2 5th-gen fighters. Now, the Su-57s that they have are slightly reminiscent to the F-22 Raptor that the U.S. has. Slightly different, though, because the exhaust ports are different. However, the wing shapes and stuff are very much reminiscent to the F-22 Raptor. So they actually are the Su-57s, the 5th generation fighters, are digital. They're not real planes. And for what they did have showing, they put in 22 or F-22 Raptors to show the to give your basic template for it. Now they have bandits in the air, so they have to get by, and then you see that Maverick survived, but now the Hind D is on his ass because the Hind D is a Russian gun chopper, and it's about to fire, or it starts firing on him, but before it can, when it has him dead to rights, it gets shot down by a Rooster. Now, one thing I'm going to ask Mara to see if she knows this, but one thing I am always wondering, and I've even tried asking the Navy channels and other people on Twitter and what, does Rooster shooting down that Hind give him a confirmed air-to-air kill? Because it is 2 aircrafts and one got shot down. So I am kind of wondering, does it count as an air-to-air kill when Rooster shoots down the Hind? Because also Hangman is known to have an air-to-air kill on his record. So then a SAM takes out Rooster, and Maverick goes running to him, and it's one of the funniest freaking scenes. He's like, "Are you all right? Yeah, are you all right?" Slam! He just shoves Rooster down. It's like, I'm like, what the hell is he doing? And then you see Rooster saying, he's like, what the hell? You think I took that missile so you could be down here with me? You should be back on the carrier by now. I saved your life. I saved your life. That's the whole point. What were you even thinking? You told me not to think. Excuse me. And I love that. And he's like, you told me not to think. Well, he's got you there, Mav. So, yeah. It's like, yeah. Oh, it's good to see you here. Good to see you too. Now what do we do? So they run over to the shot up air base and runway, and it's like, you're not serious. And then they see that there's an F-14 still intact from the Tomahawk strike. An F-14? We don't even know if that bag of ass can even fly. Well, let's find out. I shot down 2 MiGs in one of those. Now remember, folks, Maverick, or 3 MiGs actually, Maverick shot down 3 MiGs in Top Gun 1. And so when they get into the takeoff and they take off in the F-14, somebody already did a video disproving that Maverick would have crashed if he would have tried taking off the F-14. So don't try doing that in a taxiway. 2, the scene where Rooster turns on his ESAT, which is satellite tracking essentially, for when a person needs to be tracked or when they're shot down or something. They're like, we're getting a signal from Rooster's ESAT, but it doesn't make sense. Did we look, or have you lost him? No, he's supersonic. He's airborne. And what? Sir, Overwatch reports an F-14 Tomcat on its way to our location. It can't be. It can't be. And then you see Cyclone, he's like, Maverick. Maverick survived. And they're just the bell from the beginning of the Top Gun anthem. When you hear the bell from the Top Gun anthem, and then you see him say, Maverick. There you go. Maverick's on his way with the F-14. And he's talking Rooster in it because Rooster's co-pilot. And he's like, what do I do back here? He's like, I don't know. That was usually your dad's area. And he's like, I'll figure it out. And they have 2 5th gens, the ones that were airborne, coming up on them. And they don't understand the hand signals. So one of them, or the wingman, ends up going into what's known as weapons envelope, meaning you're now within their range of weaponry, for those of you who don't know. Layman's term. And so he asked him, he's like, can we outrun these guys? Not their guns and missiles. Then it's a dogfight. And he's like, an F-14 against 5th gen fighters? It's not the plane, it's the pilot. Come on, Mav, you'd do it or you'd take him on if I weren't here. But you are here. Don't think, just do. And so Maverick stops thinking. He just does. He pulls over, and as he's banking over, he takes a shot at the 5th gen, which causes it to go on a shoot down. Now, the other one immediately engages and goes after him. And he's like, tell me when you see smoke in the air, which is a missile coming at you. So he reports, or he waits for the missile to be fired. And then he goes back into the range of the craft that just got shot down. And you also see the pilot punch out just before the missile hits that plane. So he manages to avoid that missile. And then they use flares to stop the other missile. And he splits the throttle, which is in the first movie, will hit the brakes, will fly right by, kind of thing. And Maverick gets behind the other one, fires a missile. However, 5th gen fighter does something that I have never ever seen a fucking fighter do. So this is a fighter, folks. My phone, I'll use the fighter. It goes like this. It's like, just flies behind. And you get the, what the fuck was that? You get the F-bomb for a PG-13 film. And then it's back on their 6, and so they have to dodge another missile. And then they fly down into the terrain, which will confuse the targeting. So that doesn't work in real life. It would still be able to handle the targeting just fine. However, one of the best 1.5-second scenes ever in a film, folks, was from this, when he splits the throttle again, allowing the fighter to go by again to get behind him. He fires another missile, which they use flares to avoid, because now they can't do the fancy maneuvering in the terrain they're in. Well, when the missile blows and you see too close for missiles going to guns, and you see the F-14 coming out of that smoke just blasting away. That is such a great freaking scene. And I absolutely love how that is done. I turned that into a GIF as well. And I posted it on Twitter. So you can see it if you look at my Twitter profile. And Maverick is cycling down the the ammo, and he's down to 33 rounds left. He's like, I got one more shot at this. So he waits at the last moment and then blasts it, and you get the splashdown for the second one. Maverick just became an ace pilot in that moment. He's now shot down 5 air-to-air kills, all in an F-14. An F-14 is retired from the U.S. Navy, folks. And the fact that Maverick was able to shoot down 2 fifth-generation fighters with an F-14, pretty damn good. However, they get chased out with another one that was already out there as well. Somehow a third plane got in the air. Now, folks, when you see them trying to dodge and bob and weave on this plane, it's like, we can't beat him, so we're going to have to eject. Those rings above your head, pull them when I tell you. And so they do a climb to get altitude to have a proper ejection. And, well, the ejection doesn't, or the eject handles don't work. So you think they're dead. And I'm thinking, oh my God, they're about to bite it. And I'm on the edge of my seat at this point in the theaters. I'm like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So as soon as they launch the missile and they get a missile lock on Maverick and Rooster, to the point where even Rooster is, or Maverick's like, I'm sorry. I am sorry, Goose. You thinking he's about to die. You think they're both about to die. And freaking Rooster's freaking out too. And then when it launches the missile, immediately as the missile dips out of the plane, boom, it explodes along with the missile. So it's like, talk about timing, but who the hell fired it? Well, it turns out that Hangman got launched to help them, or was launched on basically an alert 5 or emergency alert. And he's like, he's allowing his ego to go through. This is your savior speaking. And then we get the nice touchdown. And no Top Gun movie is ever complete without a flyby, where he flies by the tower, buzzing the tower, essentially. And you see Cyclone drop down, and then you see him coming. He's like, fine, I'll forgive that. So they have to raise a barricade because he has no landing gear and no tail hook. So they land, and you get a swell of music that is a beautiful piece from the instrumental of Hold My Hand. And they have their celebration like in the last movie. And you learn that Hangman and Rooster shake hands. He's like, chalk yourself up another kill. That makes 2. Mav has 5. Makes him an ace. And then you see him go to you see Rooster go to Maverick, and he's like, thank you for saving my life. It's what my dad would have done. And you now know that these two are on perfectly good terms. So then they're at Maverick's hangar, and you see Rooster's helping Maverick out with the P-50. I think that's what it is. It's a P-50 that Tom Cruise owns. And so you see them working on it, and then you see Penny's daughter walk into the hangar, and then she looks at Maverick and then looks out, and you see Penny driving a beautiful freaking Porsche. And I'm thinking to myself, what is it with the women in these movies that have such beautiful cars? So then Maverick gives her a ride, and they do the kiss to Lady Gaga's Hold My Hand. And they do the same formula of credits, which in the credits for Top Gun, Goose was first credited because he died, or his character died. So they did the same in this one, down to that detail. Val Kilmer's character died in this film, so his character was first credited, and Maverick was last credited in both films. And then they run the credits with an updated and improved, in my opinion, Top Gun theme, where they added a more orchestral theme to it. Take it easy, Ma. Bye. And see you guys when you get back. They're heading out for my stepbrother's Special Olympics, folks. So, yeah. this movie, score-wise, objectively speaking, this movie was put together with some flaws, a little bit of things here and there. Yes, they're all in the back seats. They're doing backseat flying, but honestly, they do it in a way that is actually well done, beautiful cutting, exceptional digital effects, great writing, great directing, great acting. A few things here and there from objective nitpick. This movie is a 9.5, objectively a 9.5 out of 10 from a moviegoer reviewer. This movie is damn near perfect on an objective level from somebody who doesn't know the military stuff down pat. Now, using what I do know about it, looking back at it and whatnot from a second objective level, knowing with all the military winks and whatnot, this film is a 8.5 to a 9 out of 10. Subjectively, this movie is a 2,000 out of 10. I fucking love this film. It is extremely rewatchable. Folks, when I first got Top Gun Maverick on digital, I was watching it every night because I enjoyed it that much. I can watch it that much. It's rewatchable. And so, moviegoer, same score. It's a 10 out of 10. Obviously, it's 2,000 out of 10. I really do love these films. How would you compare Top Gun Maverick with other sequels that were better than the first? Dark Knight, Empire Strikes Back, Last Crusade, Return of the King. It ranks up there. It ranks up there, Neozoic. Thank you for asking your questions. So that's the score, folks. Hints for next week. Let me go to my talking points because covered everything. So hints for next week. And we're going into June now, which is, if you take a look at or go to the playlist and look at the thumbnails, you'll see swords. Each movie in June has swords used. So the first one is Embellished History and the main characters die. That fits a few sword movies, so do not think it is the obvious one. It may be the obvious one, but try to think if you know any other ideas of what it might be. So thank you to those in the chat: Neozoic, Davian Donaldson, Netcat Media, Cult Classic Cage, Jeff B, Eagle Rider, Rosetta, thank you so much for joining and for being in the chat. Vanya, thank you for coming in. Copa Catania, thank you for coming in. And anybody else who didn't, thank you all for coming on in and supporting my channel. Ruben Thomas, thank you so much. Price is Right Review, thank you. Let's see here. Did I get everybody? Yes, I did. And happy Memorial Day, belated. And I will see you all tonight on the Barroom Podcast. Neozoic, thank you for reminding me. Until then, you will also see me in the chat for OMB reviews if he has a stream tonight, which I do believe he does. So you all have a wonderful day. Folks, smash the like on your way out. Have a wonderful day, and always remember, stay humble.